Okay, we're live. So, welcome everybody to Masterclass Week 9. However, I'm renaming this to Masterclass Regroup Session, and we will actually have Week 9 next week, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But first, hi Adam, hi Marco.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey Bradley, hi everyone.
Marco, I got to tell you that Snowball microphone sounds really crisp and clear, and it's so nice to hear you on these instead of just watching you chat away in the text box. So we had to international ship a Snowball mic to Marco, and it took forever.
Took the slow boat down south.
Yeah, it was like ground courier or something. It was ridiculous. It took forever. So guys, we got a lot to cover today. I actually made an executive decision to kind of change the format of today, and I'm going to explain why. But let me first open up the slides for you guys, and then we'll get into it. And so we're going to actually cover, again, I made the decision to kind of change what we're going to do today, and I think it will be received well. I hope so anyways. So it's too late now. So, all right, you guys seeing the presentation slides now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so today is May 6, 2015. This is the IFTTT SEO Masterclass Regroup Session. Guys, this is the start of Week 9, right? So we've already gone for 8 weeks, and we've had some pretty intense training for the last 8 weeks. And so I actually wanted to, excuse me, kind of take a moment to regroup and say, let's assess where we are, what we've already learned, kind of like a review of some of the stuff that we've learned, and I wanted to cover some questions. And also the fact that, before we go and start Week 9, which, I think that's a nice round, even number for us to start next week with the, the training again, going into the more intense training after we've had this kind of regroup session. And here's another reason why, because, let me go ahead and go to the next slide. What we're going to cover, a note about the outsourcing funnel training. We were talking last week that we were going to be going over the outsourcing funnels. Well, here's the other thing. We have a mastermind webinar tomorrow with our mastermind members. Many of you are in here are actually mastermind members as well. And I didn't want to cover this twice. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the funnel training tomorrow for mastermind members. And then I'm probably going to take that training and just add it to the masterclass member area instead of doing 2 webinars on it. It wouldn't make sense. That's not the best use of our time. So you guys will still get the outsource funnel training, but you're just going to get it as a recording instead of a live event. Does that make sense? You as master class members, you as mastermind members are going to get it live tomorrow. And then you can still ask questions on it or whatever. So you're still going to get the training. And what I'm probably going to do is make this week and the so this webinar that we're on now, plus the outsource funnel training that I'm going to do tomorrow with mastermind members, but I will place that portion of the mastermind webinar in the masterclass members area. I hope that's not being confusing. Essentially, you guys are still going to get the outsourcer funnel training. You won't get the other stuff that we're doing tomorrow, but you'll get the outsourcer funnel training, and that'll be included in the masterclass members area, along with today's. So any of you that are on drip schedules because you've joined, after the initial commencement of this class, you'll get this one, the regroup session, and the outsourcer funnel training on the same date. Okay, I'm not going to set those a week apart. You'll get both of those unlocked at the same date. Okay, so I know some of you are on the live call now, but are still on the drip schedule. So just know that these will both be released at the same time. Okay, hopefully that's fair. But I think it's smarter to do that. It's more efficient with our time, and also you guys will still get the training. And I think this is important for today, as far as the outsourcing stuff. The regroup session. Now, another thing is that we sent out a survey, guys, to about 140 members of the masterclass training, and we had 6 responses. 6. And so I was a little disappointed that nobody took 2 minutes out of their day to send us responses. So the 6 responses that did come in, they're going to be rewarded because I'm going to cover that today. Okay. And again, guys, we sent the survey out with only 2 questions. And the reason we did that was because we want to know where you guys are in your businesses. What is it that you need specifically? I mean, I have what I know, what I feel is important, and I've laid this class out in a progressive manner that I think takes you like from where you should be starting through each step along the way. But obviously, there's going to be some of you that have questions about stuff that we've already covered that you'd like covered more in depth, or there's stuff that you want to see covered that you didn't see in the initial syllabus or whatever. So the whole point of that survey, guys, was for us to get kind of check the pulse of the group and find out what you guys wanted, what you needed, so that we could structure the content to give you what you want and what you need. Okay, and so when we send out a survey, we really hope that you guys take an active role in that, because it's only going to shape the classes going forward and custom tailor them more towards what the group needs, okay, than just what I think you guys need, right? I think that's really important. I want this to be more interactive as far as like you guys take an active role in helping to shape what's coming. Okay, so that said, the 6 that we had, we're going to cover some of those today. And then beyond that, we're going to cover some questions and stuff that were already posted. If you guys have questions during today, post them. Okay, so today's going to be more of a free form after we get through these next few slides. So I'm going to try to roll through some of these. But we had some good questions or good responses, and out of the 6, some of them were like, it was amazing how there were many of them, of the responses that were like basically saying the same thing. They were requesting the same thing, and so that actually gives us a good reason to do this today. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so one of the first survey responses was we asked, and I should have pulled the questions up, Adam. Do you remember what the questions were since you posted it?
No, but if you give me 30 seconds, I can get them open real quick here.
All right, and guys, what we can do now that you know, because I don't think it was taken seriously, obviously, but on the next one, guys, please take it seriously and commit, or take a few minutes. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to fill it out and give us your input so that we can literally give you guys what you want and what you need. Okay?
All right, I just put it into group chat so you can open it yourself and check it out.
Okay. All right, so the first question, and all I was trying to do was change that. Well,
yeah, sorry. Format's not real pretty.
What topic would you like to see more of? Okay, that was the first question. All right, and so this was, get back. Oh, you guys aren't seeing my screen anyways, are you?
No.
No, so let me go back to that. That's what you want. You weren't seeing, you're just seeing the presentation, and that's fine. That's all you need to see. All right, survey responses. Templates, ideas for creating marketing videos that convert. That was one of them. All right, so we're going to cover that today. Right now, I want to get into a couple different template and videos that convert well for local, and I've done a lot of testing in this field, guys. So let me go ahead and just take the whole screen. It'll make it easier. And we'll get into some of this. Excuse me. All right. That was the workbook template. I can close that. All right, so this guy, okay, guys, I've used these videos quite a bit in my business. This guy sells video packages called offlineplrvideos.com. Adam, I'm going to drop here. I'm going to drop this. Well, I'm going to have to drop them one at a time, Adam, because I don't.
That's fine.
Set up that way. This is offline PLR videos. I actually tried to get an affiliate link from this guy, and he was being a real jerk. He really was. I'm not going to lie. But I've bought a lot of his niche packs, and I've used a lot of these offline PLR videos. They're decent videos, guys, if you're live streaming, or if you take these videos and you edit them, if you're just going to do a standard YouTube upload, which is fine. Just add, and we're going to talk about the templates here a little bit more in a minute, but you add your own call to actions to them and things like that, then these offline PLR videos are good for that, okay? Because you can modify the files to where they're unique. And remember, it doesn't matter, because what I'm saying is like, for example, if you're going to look at this home biz services niche part 1, we'll click on that. Let's pause. You'll see there's security systems, landscaping, mold specialists, waterproofing, whatever. Let's say that you wanted to go tree service, one of my big industries. Guys, this is one of my really big industries. I do a lot of lead gen stuff in tree service industry. This is a decent video. These videos are decent. Guys, the niche packs are dirt cheap. They're 18 bucks, right? They're like 18 to $20. You get the niche pack, you get these videos. You can edit them, you can use them. So what I'm saying is, like, let's say I was going to use the same tree service video for 10 clients or 10 lead gen videos. then all I would do is I would edit the file to have different call to action slides in the beginning, and I would do a call to action overlay, guys. We've talked about in the previous weeks, video production and creation, and we shared one of our master classes, one of the recent ones. I think it was week 5, or week 6. It was week 5 or week 6 where we talked about video content or video creation and production. We talked about many different video editors. If you have a video editor, you can take these videos, you can drop them into the editor, you can do a call to action overlay, like a text overlay with phone numbers. You can add a couple slides in the beginning, you can add a couple slides at the end, you can change the music if you needed to, like for the beginning slides or opening slides or the end slides. I mean, there's a ton of things that you can do to make the files unique, right? So that you can use the same video over and over again on your channel. You just got to make sure that they're unique, right? Or if you're live streaming them, you don't normally have to worry about it because the files are going to be the files are going to be unique per live stream anyways. But I know right now there's been some issues with like Wirecast and stuff like that. So anyways, I don't have an affiliate link for you. It's just a standard link because the guy was being a jerk, and I almost didn't want to recommend him because of that, except for the fact that I actually have used a lot of these videos. I've got like, I don't know, I think I've got 9 of his niche packs. Like all the contractor stuff and things like that. So I've used these these videos a lot. Okay, so I did want to share that because I actually do use these. All right, those are number 1. Number 2, we're going to go over to Fiverr for a minute, and we're going to do a search. So you guys, we don't have a link for this because you can go to Fiverr yourself and do this. We've talked about this in the video content production or video production and creation webinar as well. But if you go up to the search bar and you search for animated explainer video, just click search. Guys, these videos, the reason why there's so many of these kinds of videos is because they work, right? They work. So you can hire people on Fiverr to create these, or you can go to Odesk, which is now called Up something. What's it called?
Up. Yeah, I don't know.
It's called Upwork. Is now. It used to be Odesk. Now it's Upwork. And they changed the layout and everything else, and it's going to take me a month to learn how to use it. But anyways, you can go there, and again, I've said this before, so I'm not going to rehash it too much. But the specific question was templates or ideas for creating marketing videos that convert. These convert, guys. That's why these are so popular. These animated explainer videos, they work. The trick to making these videos work. Let's go to the next slide where I talk about this. Is a strong call to action early in the video. So usually what I'll do is I'll have like an opening slide that will have the call to action, like the phone number, website address, a mention of whatever the services or product is that that the video is going to sell, essentially, and that'll be like the opening slide, which will last, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever. 3 to 5 seconds usually is what I time it at. And then it'll go into the explainer video or the PLR video, depending on what I'm using. And then I'll have a text overlay with the contact info. Typically, it's a phone number for what I do, guys. With the local stuff that I do, it's usually a phone number because that's really what I'm not trying to really draw the click. I'm trying to draw the phone call, if that makes sense. But a text overlay with the contact info, I usually try to have that present across the entire video. Okay. A cheap and easy way to do it is using annotations within YouTube. However, annotations do not show up in mobile when somebody's viewing on mobile. But now there's the function or the feature within YouTube called cards, which cards do show up in mobile. And I haven't had enough chance to play with it yet to do a training on that, guys. But once I do, I will do a training on setting up cards within YouTube. But for now, I typically will just use my video editing software and do a text overlay. And so how do you do a text overlay? Well, I'm not going to open up my video editing software, but let's say you've got a 1280 by 720 video, which is your standard video size, right? That's a 720p video. You make a 720 or a 1280 by 720 transparent PNG background image, and then you just put your text on top of it. So you're actually saving a 1280 by 720 image with transparent background with your text overlay that your text that you put on the image, and then you just overlay that on top of the video. Because remember, with video editing softwares, they work in layers. There's audio layer, there's the text layer, there's the video layers. There's usually multiple layers per if you need them. And so you're just going to add that as a layer. And so essentially it's going to overlay on top of it. That's the way you would do it. Okay? So again, this is not a class on video editing. So, but if you're going to be doing that, I recommend having a contact info like a phone number or something. Keep it short, right? I can't tell you how many marketing videos or lead gen videos I've seen that go 3.5 minutes talking about a plumber in Dallas or whatever. And guys, nobody is going to watch a 3.5 minute video because they need a plumber. Nobody. Okay, your video should be no longer than 60 seconds. Honest to God, it should be no longer than 60 seconds. 30 to 60 seconds is fine. I've got many, many videos that are 30 seconds long, 35 seconds long, and they convert because it's essentially the call to action up front. There's a text overlay with the phone number on it throughout the entirety of the video. It just basically says, we provide services. These are the services we provide. Call us. That's it. That's the end of it. That's all you need. Keep it short. Nobody's going to watch a 3-minute video about a plumber in Dallas or wherever you are. Okay. Coupons or incentives. Coupons or incentives, those are important. If you have them, if you're using them, give somebody incentive. Make it early on in the video, a mention of it. Like, call now or mention this video and you receive 10% off, or you receive 25% off of a service call, or whatever it is. If you mention that up early or put that as a part of the text overlay, that will incentivize people to call you. Okay, mention that up front. That helps with conversion as well. And then also you want to optimize. And I'm going to talk about interview videos in a minute. I didn't gloss over that yet. I'm going to get back to that. Optimize the top of the video description like it was ad copy. The reason I say that is because remember, when a YouTube video shows up in Google search, you've got the meta description, which is it's taken right from the very top of the video description. Right, the YouTube description area. So what I always do is lead with the phone number. So the phone number is the first thing that shows up in the meta description, and then I put the the keyword in, or a variation thereof of the keyword that I'm trying to rank, and then I put the website URL if I'm driving traffic, to a website. Which again, for most lead gen stuff and local stuff, you're trying to get the phone call. It's not necessarily the click, but I still put the URL in there. So just to give you what the format looks like, so you guys can see this. You are seeing my full screen, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go with this. I would do 555. Very original. Then I would say, like, let's say Dallas plumber, right? I would say Dallas plumbing services, right? It would be a variation usually of the main keyword that I'm trying to rank for, and then I would have widen this up a little bit so that it doesn't go to another line. Let's say Joe's Plumbing.com, and then I would have beyond that, I would use that beyond that part. Then I would use something that would be like a call to action, so like ad copy, like. And if you have trouble writing ad copy, very short copy, go look at AdWords ads. So for example, if I jump over here and we'll go take a look at, let's say, plumber Dallas. Whoops. Take a look at what these people say in these ads right here, guys. Okay, because a lot of these ads have been highly optimized for conversions. I mean, not all of them, but you see this, guys. $55 off any regular repair. That's the incentivize, right? That's where I talk about coupons or incentives. Why do you think it's in an AdWords ad that these guys are paying? I guarantee you Dallas Plumber is paying a high cost per click, and they've got that right in there. Why? Because it entices people to click. And so put those kind of things, if you have a coupon offer, you want to put that at the top of the description, okay? Because that's going to show up in the meta description. In fact, if we scroll down, you're going to see that right in this area, right? So I always start with the phone number because I don't put the phone number in the title tag for videos anymore. I used to all the time, but I stopped doing it because of some other video marketers I know that had their channels terminated, and it's devastating when you have hundreds of videos or even dozens of videos and that your account gets terminated and the only explanation that we could come up with because there was 2 people I know of in particular that had their accounts terminated, and they had phone numbers in the title tags. And that's the only thing we could determine that was the common reason that both of them got terminated, because YouTube doesn't tell you that. But anyway, so I went through and I changed hundreds of videos and took the phone numbers out of title tags, and I still have all my channels. Okay, so I put the phone number in the title up front, then I put a variation of the keyword, and then I put the YouTube URL, I'm sorry, the URL to the website if there is one. If it's strictly for lead gen phone calls, then I don't bother. And then I make the rest of it like ad copy. And again, if you have trouble coming up with ad copy, just go look at some of the AdWords ads and just make your own copy modeling some of those. If you have an incentive, make sure you note it. Okay?
Hey, Bradley.
Yep.
Just to add a little bit to that, because I've done tons of AdWords stuff, you can flip it. Try it with coupons or incentives first, and then the service, or the service and then the incentive, and then check and see which one works best for that particular page. You just have to keep optimizing and optimizing and changing until you find what fits right in the pocket for whatever your audience is.
That's right. And guys, if you rank the video, right? Let's say you ranked the video and you're not getting a lot of calls. You know, you don't feel like you're not getting a lot of calls and stuff. You can go in and change the YouTube description, the top of the YouTube description, right? And it will change. It will update the search results, and it won't change your rankings, right? As long as everything else is pretty much the same, you can change that, and it's not going to affect it. Right? It's not going to hurt. You can edit that description so that you're essentially changing. Remember, because it's YouTube, it will update almost instantly in the search results. It's not instant, but it's close to it. It's not like if you updated your meta description on your website, it takes a week and a half for it to update into search results. The YouTube stuff usually updates very quickly. Okay? All right, so we're going to move on. The interviews, guys, I've talked about this in the past. But let's say that you're on a budget, okay? The PLR videos is dirt cheap, guys. But you know, if you don't want to spend the money on the PLR videos, or you don't have a video editing software where you can use, which you're going to need for using PLR videos, or you don't want to hire animated explainer videos. Again, I don't recommend doing this yourself, guys. But you can, like I said, just go to Fiverr, search animated explainer videos, guys. You can find people here. They're not $5. Don't let that fool you. Okay, you're going to have to buy several gigs to get what you need, but you know, for $30-40 you can get a decent video made. And in fact, you can do what we've done in the past, and that's once you start a relationship with somebody, which is why I recommend using Odesk or Upwork now, because you can form a relationship with somebody and you can get customized. They can create a template for you that might cost you $100 to get the template created up front. But then from going forward, you can use that same template with minimal editing, so you could have it edited for like $10 at a time. Crank out the videos very quickly. Anyways, that said, the last thing is if you, for whatever reason, you don't have a budget for that or whatever, interviews works well, guys, which means you can actually set up an interview with the business owner and just ask them a couple very short questions. Trust me, business owners become very long-winded when you start interviewing them. I know because I've done it dozens of times. But what I would do is I've done this many times, and I would just do a few questions. I'd say introduction. I'd say who I was as the host or the interviewer and who I was interviewing, the name of their business. Then I would ask them, hey, can you tell us a little bit about your business? How did you get into the business? What separates your, what products and services do you sell? Usually they talk about that up front anyways. What separates you from your competition, or what differentiates you from your competition? What makes you better than your competitors? Then say, okay, great. How would somebody get a hold of you? If they're looking, how would somebody contact you? They let them give their contact information, and then do you have any incentives or coupons? Which again, you get this straight with them ahead of time, so that if they don't have coupons, you don't ask them that question, obviously. But interviews works very well because you can do that with Google Hangouts on Air. It requires no editing. The files are unique. They rank very quickly. They rank very well. And if you keep them very short, and again, a lot of the times the business owners will end up talking for 10 minutes, but you got to try to tell them that up front. Look, we want this to be no more than 3 to 5 minutes. You want to give an incentive for people to want to click. But interview videos, I found those that convert very well, to believe it or not, because it's personal, and people get to see the business owner and feel like they've met them, and that helps with conversion rates. I've got lots of these videos that are still ranked today from interviews that I've done a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and they do convert well. Okay? So we got to move on because once again, these are going to go, we're running out of time already. And survey responses. Integration, the big picture. This is something that came up twice. That's why I have it. It was two different responses that came up with basically the same request. So these are the requests, which was there are a lot of moving parts in SEO. How does it all fit together? How do the pieces support each other? And the other response was blueprint with general outline of all components to rank. Big picture. So you can see big picture showed up twice. So my responses to this, and we're going to try to roll through this very quickly, guys. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is a blueprint for IF. Remember, guys, this master class is specifically for creating a business using the IFTTT SEO model. Okay? So this is, there's other models besides video SEO and IFTTT SEO. Keep in mind when we talk about IFTTT SEO, for the purpose of our training, we've been talking mainly about video SEO stuff, but you can apply this to websites, guys. You already know that, but I just need to reiterate that, reemphasize that right now. But remember, this specific big picture or blueprint that I'm talking about here is specific to IFTTT SEO, okay? Because again, there's additional stuff, a lot of other stuff that you could get into that we don't cover here because that's beyond the scope of this training. Big picture, number one, this is the blueprint, guys. Select a model, right? Are you going to do lead gen? Are you going to do local client consulting? Are you going to do pay per lead if you're doing lead gen? Are you leasing videos? So you need to select what kind of model you're going to do. It's okay to do client stuff. I don't recommend it, but it's okay to do that. If that's what you want to do, then just decide on it and stick to it. Number one rule, stick to whatever your decision is. Okay, like choose a model. Number two, niche research, guys. You need to research your niche. Once you've decided on what type of business you want to create using IFTTT SEO, then you want to select a niche. Like, who is it that you're going to target? And then you need to research that niche, right? You need to make sure that it's a viable niche. Research the viability of it. What is the demand? Is there a demand for that niche, for that industry, for that business? Is there a demand for it? And if there's a demand for that business, is there a demand for marketing services? Well, that's kind of a rhetorical question, because if there's a demand for a business, there's a demand for marketing services, period. Okay? But you need to check that demand. You want to go after stuff that has a higher demand. Okay? Needs. What are the needs of the market, and how can you fulfill those needs? Or what are the needs of the businesses in that market, and how can you fulfill those needs? Those are two separate questions, and I hope you understand that. You need to understand that because remember, you're the marketing expert going to the business owner, right? Or providing marketing services to a business owner. So first of all, you need to know what the business's customers' needs are, okay, so that you can craft that into the message that you're going to use for the business, right, that you're going to be providing the business. Then you need to also know what the business owner's needs are as a business, and you need to create a balance there. That's important. You as the marketing professional need to know both of those aspects of it. You need to know their customer needs, plus you need to know the business owner's needs, and you need to try to meet both of those. So you're going to find that out in your niche research. And guys, niche research, it's not just about reading online and doing research. It's also going to be talking to people, okay, and getting out there and talking with business owners to discover this stuff. Because no matter how much reading and stuff you do, you won't know for sure until you get out there and start talking to people. And keywords is very important. Doing keyword research, and also when you're talking with business owners in a particular industry, you'll find that there's always a vocabulary in every industry. And once you learn that vocabulary, it makes it much more easy to communicate with other business owners in that industry, and also in crafting your marketing messages, okay, to the consumers. All right, so just keep that in mind. Niche research is number two, and you've got to meet these four. These are four things that you need to keep in mind. So number one is choose a model. Number two is niche research. Number three, once you've selected a niche that you know is going to be profitable, that you're planning on going after, then you want to start building your networks. And guys, when I say build networks, do I mean you build them? No, that's not what I mean. I mean you can if you're tight on cash and you're long on time. Short on cash and long on time, then you can build them yourself. Don't recommend it though, because it takes a long time to build networks. You can outsource this. You can hire us to do it. Shameless plug, right? Or you can hire your own VAs to do it, or whatever. I don't care where you do it. Just get it done. So that and order your network right after you've selected your niche, and you know that that's something that you're going after. And once again, once you've made a decision, stick to it, guys. Don't start backtracking and second guessing, because it will be a exercise in futility. It'll be a waste of time. Once you've made a decision, stick to it. Then hire your network builds. From that point forward, hire your network builds, because as that's being built, you can start creating your assets. The assets would be videos or websites, right? Start creating your assets. Once again, you can outsource parts of this. You can outsource the whole thing if you want, but what I recommend is, you guys know I recommend starting with videos if you're new to this. If you guys already have some experience in the SEO or the marketing field, if you have experience with building WordPress sites, whatever, that's fine. You can do it for websites too. Select whatever one you feel is best for you, and just start creating the assets while your network is being built. Okay? And from there, you want to rank your assets. Number 5 is rank your assets. Usually by the time you're done creating this stuff, your network should be done. So you want to start ranking your assets. What's that mean? That means submitting, publishing content to your YouTube channel or publishing content to your websites that you're trying to rank. Okay? Which in consistency is key. Remember that. All right? And once you've ranked your assets, guys, and whether you're doing it for client consulting or you're doing it for lead gen, you want to start off with at least some things ranked. Even if you plan on taking on clients, guys, you want to have some stuff ranked up front, because that's going to give you credibility. It's going to make the sale so much easier to close when you can point to proof that you know what you're doing. So rank for some terms, guys. Pick some really long tail keyword phrases that you could rank for in 15 minutes. I mean, literally, you publish a video and it ranked in 15 minutes. It's on page 1. Take screenshots of it and then use Snagit or whatever to put notes right on the screenshot to highlight the timestamp that shows in the search results and says 15 minutes ago. Whatever, because that's important. Use really, really long tail terms, guys, that nobody's trying to rank for, but is specific to the industry that you've chosen, just so that you have something you can point to and say, look, I can do this. And now don't lie to them and say, okay, I'm going to rank you for Plumber Dallas. That's too general of a term. You probably never get a video on page 1 for that. You might, but it's probably going to be very difficult. But you could, if you've ranked hot water heater repair Dallas, Texas, and you've ranked that, and then you start to talk to a Dallas plumber, you could talk about other things that you could rank them for, like more long tail terms or whatever. But my point is that you just want to go ahead and start ranking some assets, either for lead gen purposes or just for portfolio purposes for when you go to prospect. Okay, so that's step 5. So guys, again, linear fashion, you wanted a blueprint. This is what the blueprint is for creating a profitable business, a revenue generating business in the shortest amount of time. I'm not saying that you can do all this in a week, but these are the steps that you need to take to get to generating revenue. Okay, so once you've ranked some assets, again, whether they're lead gen stuff that you're going to monetize, or even if they're just portfolio pieces that you're going to use for credibility purposes, the next thing you want to do is prospect. When I say prospect, I mean prospecting for either local clients, if you're going to be doing client consulting, or services, providing consulting or providing services, or if you're doing lead gen, you still need to prospect for lead buyers, right? Okay, so prospecting, and guys, go back, refer to week 7 and 8 of Masterclass, where those week 7 and 8 were specifically about prospecting, 2 whole weeks. Okay, so go back to those for prospecting. In fact, let me check my notes. Okay, we're going to keep moving because we don't need that yet. Number 7, close the deal. Once you've set up you started prospecting, guys, and again, we're not going to go into how to prospect because we did that in week 7 and 8, but there's a million ways to do that. There's several ways. You just prospect, close the deal. You got enough people in your funnel up front, your prospect funnel, then you should be able to close some of those, to where you can start making some money. So again, whether you're selling consulting or services to clients, or you're finding a lead buyer for lead gen assets, either way, you want to close the deal. Once you've closed the deal, you repeat. Repeat it immediately. Don't wait. Don't start fulfilling this person's order and wait until you're done with that to start prospecting again or to start this process all over again. Just repeat. Do it immediately while you're still hot, while you've got it, while it's fresh in your mind. If you haven't done it a lot before, then just do it immediately. Repeat. Okay? And once you've done it a couple times, guys, and you've got the process it's familiar to you. You don't even have to master the process. Just become familiar with it. My very next step in this process here, in this blueprint, is number 9, build team. Guys, when I say build a team, that shouldn't scare any of you. It shouldn't put any of you off. Start with one VA. Just hire one virtual assistant to start taking on some of these tasks. Okay, you can compartmentalize the tasks and hire different VAs for different tasks, so it's more like an assembly line. That actually works very well, because then you can the efficiency goes way up, because a VA gets very, very good at one specific task, then they get better at it than you could ever be, because that's all they do. So you could do that, or you could just hire a jack of all trades, one VA that takes on multiple tasks. It's entirely up to you. If you're going to scale your business, the faster way to scale is to hire VAs that are that do one specific task, and because they get very, very efficient at that one task, and then your projects go from one VA to the next along down the line like an assembly line, and it's much, much faster that way. But my point is this: number 9, after you've done this a couple times, step 8, repeat. Once you've got this process down where you've done it a couple times, 3 times, whatever, and you feel confident in your ability of being able to do steps 1 through 7, then you can, and in fact, again, after steps 1 and 2 and 3, you really don't need to do anything but repeat step 4 through 7, right? That's all you really need to do, is repeat steps 4 through 7. Do that several times, then start building a team. Start with just one VA, guys. How do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Okay, so start with one VA. Make that a priority, guys. Start building a team, because that's the only way you're ever going to be able to scale your business. And we're going to talk about one of the other things that came up multiple times in the survey in just a moment, and that's going to be about scaling as well. Okay? So number 10 is to scale. But you have to start with one VA before you can really scale, guys. And the only way you're ever... Do you want a job or do you want a business? Seriously, guys, you got to think about that. Do you want another job, or do you want a business? Because if you're doing everything yourself, it's a job. If you want a business, you need to start learning how to outsource and delegate. Okay? All right, so we're going to move on. Survey response. In the process of working on implementing what you're teaching us, time is my biggest non-technical hurdle. You see that? That was one response. Number 2, the other response from another survey respondent was just 100% time to do it all, to put all of the pieces together. So that brings us into productivity and time management. Okay, so this is part of the whole scaling process that I just talked about. All right, so number 1, guys, for productivity and time management, look, I totally understand where you are with that. Like, because I'm working 16 hours a day right now, literally 12 days in a row, because then I get my daughter for 2 days, and then I take off for that, and then another 12 days on at 12 hours or 16, 16 hours a day, because I'm also running 4 businesses. You know what I mean? So time management is something that I've really had to learn, and I am so stretched thin as it is, and so I'm telling you this from personal experience, guys. I know exactly where you were. 2 years ago, all I had was one business, right? My local client consulting business, and I was completely maxed out. This was just 2 years ago. Okay, so I know from firsthand experience where you guys are that are having time management issues and saying there's not enough time. And this is what I have done in the last couple of years that through trial and error, guys, and I want to prevent you from having to go through that. It's really what the whole point of this masterclass is about, is to shortcut your success. Eliminate distractions. Number 1, you see I listed that number 1, that wasn't by accident. Guys, eliminate distractions and schedule productive time. Some of you that might still have jobs, unfortunately, this is going to be more of a thing for you, for any of you, period. But for those of you that have jobs, you need to schedule productive time where, and keep a set schedule, like if you can. I know there's always specific circumstances and stuff, but for the most part, you want to schedule time. Like, even if it's just 2-hour blocks of time, 5 days a week. If that's all you can do, then make that happen. Schedule it and eliminate distractions, guys. Get off Facebook. Turn off desktop notifications of email. Turn your cell phone off. Do whatever you got to do to eliminate distractions. Don't go check your email box, every 10 minutes and look at the next WSO that's being launched, or the JVZoo product that's being launched, because you're on 100 different email lists, marketers' emails list for that next shiny object. Guys, we've been over this 1,000 times, but eliminate distractions, guys. You want to build a real business, you need to make up your mind that you're going to take action towards a specific goal and stick to that goal. So you need to eliminate distractions because they will suck time, valuable time away from you building your dream. Okay? And I know because I get distracted easily too. So there's times that I have set when I want to, look at emails and stuff like that, and I try to stay as focused as possible. And I'm not, I don't even drink my own Kool-Aid sometimes, guys. I'm telling you this because I get distracted from you guys with all the support stuff that we've been getting hit with, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit too if we have time. That's something that we've been dealing with, and we're getting that more of a handle on that going forward. We've got some stuff in the works now because I get distracted by support issues and stuff all the time. Okay, so just eliminate distractions. You'll be more productive. Schedule productive time and stick to it. Create a to-do list. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but guys, create a to-do list and break down to-do items into tasks. And again, the next bullet goes right with that. Prioritize tasks, guys. Literally, I know it might sound too simple for it to be effective, guys, for you to say, oh, I don't need a to-do list. I know what I have to do. Bullshit. Guys, write down, create a to-do list. Literally, write it down physically. I mean, you can have a typed-up list if you want. I prefer handwriting out my list because there's something in that action of handwriting it that kind of, concretes it or solidifies it in my mind, and it makes me want to take more action. And that's just me personally. If you guys are, do it however you want to do it. I've got a whiteboard that sits right next to me. It's within arm's reach, and that's where I put my to-do list most of the time. Okay? Create a to-do list of the items that need. Break down large tasks into specific tasks. So large, big projects or things that are multiple tasks, break them down into specific tasks and prioritize the tasks, guys. And these are the questions you should ask when you're creating your to-do list. What tasks will have the biggest impact on my business, right? What tasks will have the biggest impact on my business? Put those at the top of the list. What can or should I be outsourcing? That should always be in your mind, guys, if you're trying to build a business. Do you want to build a job or do you want to build a business? So what can and should I be outsourcing? Because I guarantee you most of you on this call are probably doing stuff right now that you should be outsourcing because your time should be better spent on higher level stuff that's going to produce revenue for your business. We're trying to get that one recipe in the IFTTT network and spending 2.5 hours trying to get one freaking recipe to work because it's not posting properly. Is that the best use of your time? No, it's not. So what I'm saying is you should be thinking about that. Like, is this task really moving me forward? Guys, if you find yourself stuck on anything whatsoever, you should be asking yourself that while you're working on stuff, especially for things that you feel like you spent a lot of time, like if you get that idea like, oh, wait a minute, I'm spending a lot of time on something, take a break for a minute. Think about it. Is this task really moving me forward? Go back and look at your to-do list, which you should have already created at this point, and say, look at the different items on your list and say, okay, wait a minute, what I'm currently working on, is really that the priority that I should be on? What are other things on my to-do list that would have a bigger impact, right? Have a bigger impact. And work on those. Okay, because again, if you're limited with time, guys, you need to take action on the things that are going to have the biggest impact. And a lot of this minutia, getting lost in the weeds, the little details of a lot of this stuff is really unnecessary. And I know it's easy to do that, to get lost in the weeds. But I'm telling you, you need to recognize that that's a possibility or that happens, and then take steps to mitigate that. Okay? Stay disciplined, guys. I put that in caps because you need to stay disciplined. You need to really stick to it. When you made up your mind that you're going to build your business and you're limited on time, you need to start managing your time better, then stick to these things, guys. Don't let the distractions start to creep back in. You know what I mean? Like, stick to it. Stay disciplined, guys. It's about discipline. And trust me, it becomes a habit after you've done it for long enough. And you guys probably know that. All right, one other thing I want to point out very quickly. This is something that had a profound impact on my business, guys, and on just my attitude in general. It's a thing called the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. You might not like Grant Cardone. I don't know if you do or you're not. Here, I'm going to drop this, Adam, if you can drop this in the... Sure. That's just a link to Amazon, guys. You could probably find it for cheaper or whatever. I don't know, whatever. I just very quickly looked that up and dropped that and gave that link to Adam because it just says Grant Cardone, the 10X rule. I got the audio book, the audio recording. I put it on my MP3 player, and I listen to it like when I'm driving, in the car, or if I go out for a walk, I put my headphones on. I just listen to the 10x rule, and that I listened to it twice back to back when I first got it, about, I don't know, probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago now, and it had a profound impact on my business. Okay, because it again, you might not like the way Grant Cardone presents information. I'm just telling you, there's a book and there's an audio book. If you'd rather read it, then read it. I just got the audio because that way I could listen to it while I was driving and stuff like that. So my point is that is just something that personally I have used that really helped me to become so much more productive, guys, and I wanted to share that with you. Like, I have no affiliation with Grant Cardone, and he might come off a little rough to some of you guys, whatever, but to me it resounded with me. Okay, and it really had a profound impact. So go check it out. Okay. Next, because we're running out of time, survey responses. You'll see getting customers came up twice out of the 6 respondents. Getting new SEO clients, that came up, and keeping up with clients came up. Okay, so I'm going to cover both of these right now. But I thought that was interesting that out of only 6 respondents, like 4 of them came up with something very similar. So that's obviously a need that we're going to cover a little bit more. So as far as getting clients, guys, I wanted to just point out a few different ways that you can get clients. Again, refer to Masterclass Week 7 and 8, where we talk about prospecting. Okay, but local networking meetings, guys. When I first got my start, the 2 major sources or main sources of my clients, when I started my agency, I went from lead gen and to also doing client services, right? I mentioned that many times. That was just over 3 years ago now. Excuse me. The 2 main sources of my clients that I would get were from local networking meetings, which you can find at meetup.com, and Chamber of Commerce meetings, and like local lead shares and things like that, which you can find at meetup.com. And that's because you have to get out and hobnob with people and go rub elbows with other business owners. I can tell you right now that the people at meetup meetings are generally hungry and starving business owners. So you will go to meetup meetings and you will meet a ton of people that need your services, but they won't hire you for your services. Just know that going into it, because it's very frustrating when you go to a meetup meeting or a lead share meeting that has 15 other business owners there, and every one of them has shitty marketing and they need your services, but yet they don't hire you. That's very frustrating. I just want you to know that. But you will occasionally get somebody that needs your services and will hire you to do so. So meetups is one way to do it. Chamber of Commerce, I found that the Chamber of Commerce, generally, you'll have better results because people that are members of Chambers of Commerce have to pay a fee to be a member, so they are generally more serious about their business, and they also are usually doing better financially because they're willing to pay that fee to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So which means they have money, more money than the people at the meetups usually do. So, but again, you're going to have to invest as well in order to be able to attend those meetings. So it's going to require an investment, but you've got a higher caliber of potential business owners there. Okay, and again, the 2 main ways I got my clients when I first started doing client consulting was local networking meetings and in Vmail, video email, which we discussed once again the last couple weeks in the prospecting classes. Okay, cold prospecting, video email works absolutely great for that. If you don't want to go out and hobnob with people at these meetup events and local networking events, then you can do it. It's going to require a little bit of time, or you can outsource it, right? But take action, guys, for cold prospecting. I said take action because you need to do it, and you need to do it consistently. If you're going to be doing cold prospecting, you need to do it. And again, I'm not going to go into detail here because we went over that Masterclass Week 7 and 8, but you need to take action and do it consistently. And guys, there are many steps that you can outsource for that so that you don't actually need to do it. We've talked about that in Week 7 and Week 8, so I'm not going to talk about it again here. But a lot of that can be outsourced. Okay, the only part that you should take an active role in with the cold prospecting is once the contact email, well, possibly making video emails if you're going to make personal emails, like where you are making an email referencing a particular business owner's website or marketing or whatever, and also in the sales process, once you've made the initial contact, which an outsourcer can do for you, and somebody responds or replies, you actually fielding the phone call or making the phone call to talk or discuss, to try to close the sale. That's the only thing that you should have an active role in at that point, because you can outsource the rest of it. Trust me, guys, if you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours a day emailing people for prospecting, you'll lose interest very, very quickly, and it's hard to keep that up. Okay, but you pay somebody else to do it, it gets done. Video production companies, guys, we talked about this many, many times, but for getting clients, especially for video SEO stuff, guys, video production companies are a great, great, great source of clients, of work that you can get like right away, especially when you go frame it the way that I've told you guys in the past. For those of you that aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, if you go look in your local area or your local metropolitan area, there are going to be video production companies that provide, they create videos for local businesses. Okay, and depending on, they range anywhere from $500 to $5,000 for local business videos. Okay, so it covers a broad spectrum of clientele and the caliber of businesses that you're going to deal with. But the point is the video production companies, for the most part, probably 80%, and that's a statistic I just made up, but 80% or so, 8 out of 10 video production companies aren't going to have monthly services other than, maybe hosting a video for somebody or whatever. The point is that they sell videos to local businesses, and the local businesses most of the time don't have any idea what they're, other than to put the video maybe on their website. They don't use the videos to generate leads, which is what you can do for them. Okay, and that the video companies, so the business owner who purchased the video isn't probably using the video to generate leads. They might have thought that it was going to generate them leads, but probably is not, because all they did was put it on their website. For some reason, business owners think that all they need is a website and they're going to get business. We all know that's not true. So then they say, okay, now I've got this website that's not producing business like I thought it would. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go spend $4,000 on getting a local business video made, and I'm going to put it on my website, and that's going to bring me customers. And we all know that that's not true. But now they've got this video that they've paid for that now you can go rank for them, and instead of you actually having to contact the business owner, why not contact the video production company and sell your services to them as wholesale SEO, and you create a win-win-win benefit. How do you frame that? You tell the video production company, hey, listen, you have businesses that you provide, you create videos for. What I can do is rank those videos for your clients. You can sell it as an additional service, Google, an SEO, video SEO service, a Google boosting service, whatever the hell you want to call it, and I'll sell you wholesale SEO services. You can mark it up and sell it retail to your clients, and it produces a recurring revenue for you, the business owner. It generates leads for the customer, the end customer, and me, I get to do what I do best, and that's to rank stuff behind the curtain, right? The man behind the curtain. I don't have to go out and sell. Remember, the video production company has their own sales staff in place. The video production company is going to be the point of contact for the business owner. So they're selling to the business owner, they're managing the client. All you're doing is selling wholesale SEO services to the video production company. Guys, you can close deals very quickly when you frame it that way, and you can get a lot of work. Okay? Outsource your sales. Guys, again, I don't I personally don't like selling. I can sell very, very well. I can close a lot of sales. I've got a really high conversion rate when I get in front of somebody. But it's that getting in front of somebody that I hate, that getting that initial contact, I hate it. That's why I did video email, and I did it very well, because I didn't like the sales part and the contacting and all that crap. But some of you are probably good at that. Well, then do it if you're good at it. But if you're not, you can outsource that, guys. One thing, like I mentioned earlier, have an example portfolio, guys. Even if you, I recommend that you create lead gen videos that you can also monetize. But even if you don't do that, just have an example portfolio, something that you can point to, that you can have your outsourced salesmen or saleswomen point to as proof when they're contacting to sell. And make it commission based. You can find salespeople on Craigslist in your local area if you want to do like door-to-door sales, or even if they just want to, they can work from their home, commission-based salespeople. I've done this, guys, and it is effective. It's kind of a pain in the ass finding a good salesman, and you'll find a bunch of people that are crap, they're garbage, especially on commission-based. But you can find every now and then somebody that just be a rock star and will produce a ton of sales for you. And they can do door-to-door sales. You can have somebody that handles email marketing and email sales for you. And you can also have telephone guys. You can find people that will do telephone sales that don't mind cold calling people. Okay, and you can find that kind of stuff locally through like Craigslist ads and things like that. I've done it. I've done it several times, and it has been effective. It is a pain in the ass because you have to go through a lot of bad eggs, bad apples to find a good one. But when you do get a good one, they'll produce for you very, very well. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the work. Okay. You can also hire people off of like Odesk or now Upwork, I guess it's called, that have telemarketing or email marketing sales experience. But you got to find somebody that's fluent in English, or else they'll screw it up for you and make you look bad. Okay, that's all that you have to do there. But you can outsource your sales. Okay, does that make sense? And also, last one is screw clients, do lead gen. Right? I mentioned that before. Getting clients. Right? That's what brought this slide up, was because they say getting clients is one of their main. The respondent said one of the main issues that they're facing is getting clients. Well, here's a bunch of ways to get clients. But screw clients, do lead gen. Rank your own assets first, and then you sell the leads or lease those assets, and you do the prospecting via Vmail, video email, or funnels. Okay, or both. Use Vmail to drive people to your funnels. You've automated the process then, right? You rank your own assets, then you sell the leads or lease them to people that you've driven into your funnel through video email and funnels. And pretty much automates the sale process. You might have a little bit of contact with them near the very end of the funnel, the sales cycle, but at that point they're already pre-sold. That's why I recommend doing that. And again, go back to weeks 6, 7, and 8. All right, we're going to move on, and let's see where we are with that, because I know we're running out of time. We got a couple more slides, so we're going to get through this very quickly. All right, so keeping up with clients, schedule management hour, guys. We talked about time management a minute ago, but keeping up with clients, like, I understand how difficult it is, especially, and guys, that's what I'm talking about. Do you want a job or do you want a business? Do you want a job or do you want a business? That's like the 4th or 5th time I've asked you that now in this particular class, right? But if you're starting off in the business and you get 4 or 5 clients, it's damn difficult to manage all the work that goes into it. Probably because, and your time is limited because you're doing everything in the business. I know, I've done it, I've been there, right? So you need, when it comes with keeping up with clients, especially as you start to take on more and more clients, you need to start delegating some of the work. Number one, when you're keeping up with clients, you need to schedule management hours. Now, I've got this very fine-tuned for my local business. I'm finding that for Semantic Mastery and our coaching business, which you guys are part of right now, that I have not been following these instructions, and that's why, like I said, we're kind of going through some growing pains right now with putting management hours into place, because I'm the type of guy that will answer a support ticket or a Facebook message request at 11 o'clock at night when I have no business doing that. You guys are very demanding as students, I can tell you that, and I say that with a lot of affection, guys. I love you guys as our students, but some of you guys are so demanding, and honestly, at 11 o'clock at night is not the time to be asking me questions, or if it's okay to ask the question, but I shouldn't be responding at that time at night. I should be responding during set hours every day, and I've had a hard time dealing with that, and we're actually working on that now. That's something I have to personally work on. So when I tell you this, I can tell you from a local client consulting business owner's perspective that I have put this into place, and I've got that very finely tuned. It works very well for me. My local client consulting business guy runs almost on autopilot. It takes very little input from me. Occasionally it takes more, like right now it's springtime, so there's a lot of my contractors are getting upgraded services or adding additional services, and then it takes a lot more input from me. But once we get through this initial push, then it goes back to my outsourcers managing my business, and I literally only have management hours scheduled. What I do personally, guys, is I have 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. 5 days a week scheduled for management hours, although that doesn't mean I'm actually managing my local client consulting business for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. It just means that I'm available to manage my outsourcers, my team of VAs, and also to reply to client concerns and emails and things like that during those 3 hours. I have that scheduled. I often multitask and do other things, like work on semantic mastery stuff or whatever. But my point is that those are, if something comes up that requires my attention for my local business clients, then it's done within those 3 hours every day. Does that make sense? Plus, my outsourcers know that those are the times that I'm going to be available on Skype for questions and things like that, for guidance and stuff. So schedule management hours, guys. Keeping up with clients, you need to schedule management hours and stick to it. Okay, and like train your clients too to know you need to set a precedence. Let them know that, like, honestly, trust me, I know. Just like what I'm telling you, I'm having issues with semantic mastery, guys, and like feeling like I have to answer every question the moment I see it, even if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, which is total bullshit. I shouldn't be doing that, right? But I've done the same thing with clients in the past, where a client would send me an email at 8:30 at night, and I'd reply to the email. Well, what that does is that triggers an okay for them to be able to email me and expect a response at any time during the day. And that's not right. You know, I run a business. At 5 p.m. at night, I shouldn't be answering any more client emails until 8 o'clock the next morning. Does that make sense? Because they have office hours. Why can't I? And you should, as a business owner, you should. And so I understand it's difficult, but you need to start doing that. If you have clients, don't let your clients dictate your hours. You need to set your hours and stick to them. Make sure your clients understand and recognize and respect your work hours. Okay? Very important, guys, because that took me forever to get over. And again, I'm struggling with that right now with you guys as students at Semantic Mastery. Again, I love you guys, but you know, we are setting it up. We're working towards that as well, to where you guys will get responses during certain hours, and any time after that, you're just going to have to wait, because it's only fair. Okay? Use Trello or some other project management app. We teach with the outsourcer training how to use Trello for training outsourcers and everything else, but Trello is so fantastic, guys. It doesn't have to be Trello. Just use some sort of project management app to keep track of your projects. It will help you to be more productive as well. I used to use Asana. I now use Trello. It's a very effective tool. Okay? Batch tasks, guys. This is just an example. But when I talk about batching tasks, I mentioned by task type, not client. In other words, when let's say I'm managing 10 clients, okay? When I batch tasks by task type, meaning like, and this is just totally an example, guys, but like Monday might be content management, which would mean like either creating content or ordering content, distributing content, meaning pushing content across, publishing blog posts or YouTube videos to their channels or whatever it may be. Monday's my content day. Then Tuesday might be my link building day, right? Which is where like I go out and I find additional linking opportunities and build links, where I manage my PBNs, or I go check on my IFTTT networks or whatever. That's it. Instead of instead of saying, okay, Monday I'm going to work on Joe's plumbing, and on Tuesday I'm going to work on Bob's electrical, and on Wednesday I'm going to work on Tim's roofing. Like, the problem with that is usually there's going to be tasks that get repeated over and over again, like certain types of tasks that you're going to do. And it's easier to batch the tasks by type, because once you get in the groove, for example, if you're in the content marketing groove, and you batch, I'm going to work on all 10 clients' content on Monday, then you get into that groove and you become more efficient throughout the day as you do it. But if you're switching gears throughout the day all the time, going from content to link building to analysis to ordering or managing outsourcers and all that, then you're constantly switching gears, guys. There's inertia in everything we do, right? There's momentum. So it's difficult to switch direction in the middle of the day, and it takes longer to get into the groove of things. So I found that when you're managing clients, to batch by task type and not by client. So instead, if I'm managing 10 clients, I'm going to do all 10 clients' analytics, or analyzing their sites and their traffic reports and seeing, rank tracking and all that. That might be a Wednesday where I do that for all 10 clients. Does that make sense? Batch your tasks, you'll get more efficient that way. Okay, and guys, again, this was just totally an example. Don't model your business after this. Just use that as an example. We're over time, so I'm going to try to get through here in about the next 5 minutes, Adam. I'm sorry if I'm running over. I think
That's
this
fine.
is an important
Yeah,
session.
this is good stuff.
Outsource, guys. Start with outsourcing tasks. What I mean by that is start outsourcing tasks. I mentioned that in a previous slide, guys, but you need to find stuff that is repetitive in your business that comes up over and over and over again. So you can outsource that. Take the time to outline or put a working procedure to document the steps required to do that specific task. Take the time to do that, and then find an outsourcer and pay them to do it. If it's repetitive tasks that come up over and over and over again, then you can have an outsourcer do it for literally a few dollars an hour, and it will save your sanity and allow you to grow your business, because it's something that you're spending time on and you get saturated, you can't do anymore. Guys, I can't stress this enough. Start with outsourcing tasks. Then, as your business begins to grow, because when you start outsourcing these tasks, guys, your business will grow, because you'll have more time to focus on higher level stuff and generate more revenue for your business. I know what it's like to have, say $3,000 a month coming in. Let's go smaller than that. Let's say you've only got $1,000 a month coming in from your marketing business right now. Last thing you want to do is pay somebody $100 a week out of your $1,000 that you get, because you're thinking, oh God, that's going to bring me down to only $600 a month in revenue. You're not thinking like a business owner. Okay? What you need to do is think about, how can I pay this guy $100 or a girl $100 a week so that I can go out and now create $2,000 a month in income instead of $1,000? Because now aren't you up $600 a month instead of down $400 a month? That's how you need to think about it. So start with outsourcing tasks, and then as soon as you have a few people in place that are outsourcing tasks, or one person in place that's doing multiple tasks for you, then you can graduate, work on generating more revenue, taking in more clients, or doing more lead gen, whatever, then graduate to hiring a project manager. Fortunately, I didn't have to hire a project manager for my local client consulting business, because I was able to put a team together that works well enough that just requires my time to manage, which is what I do, like I said, from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., 5 days a week. I'm there to manage the projects. And it doesn't really take a lot of my effort or input. But if you're limited on time or whatever the case may be, guys, you can hire a project manager, or take, like, for example, like your best VA, if you have a few VAs at this point, and promote them, to be a project manager, especially if they're familiar with your processes in your business. But hire a project manager so that they can handle managing the tasks while you work on growing your business. Okay? Very, very important. So keeping up with clients, guys, this slide right here is gold. It might seem simple, but I'm telling you, if you put these things into place, it will help your business grow. The last thing, which I'm not going to spend much time on, but is boosting IFTTT networks. This was one of the survey respondents entered this in. So we're going to talk about this, and this is going to be boosting networks. Adam, I can drop this whole batch of links in the chat box.
Sure.
Down on the bench page. And sorry, guys, that this was a very jam-filled session, and I was hoping to get some questions. I don't think we're going to be able to. But anyways, boosting the IFTTT networks, guys, this is going to make your network so much more effective. You guys already know this. We've covered this. FCS Networker is a great tool for that. If you want to do it yourself, then you certainly can. But the theme of this entire class today was I don't recommend doing that, so I'm not going to beat that dead horse anymore. SendWire, if you guys have it, SendWire is a good tool for boosting IFTTT networks. There are some good things and some bad things about SendWire. Like I said, if you have it, it is an effective tool if you set it up properly and everything, and you can use it to boost your IFTTT networks. There's nothing wrong with that. It will work well. GSA, if you want to use GSA, you can. You just have to be careful, because GSA, if you're like GSAing your tier 1 network, you've got to be really skilled with the tool, or else you can actually cause damage to your main site, because it's only 2 tiers away from your main site, and I don't recommend pure spam unless you really know what you're doing. So you have to be very skilled with GSA, or else you'll destroy your trust flow and everything else. So you can use that, but I would use those on tier 2 networks only if you're going to be using GSA. The SM link building service, that's another shameless plug, guys. You guys, we've got this system of this process honed very, very well. If you guys want to boost your IFTTT networks, you can hire us to do it. It will get done right, and it will get done, over in the right time frame too, because you can overdo it. So we have it drift out. Again, it's up to you guys, but this is something that we do provide. It is very effective. So the cost, you shouldn't think of it as the cost. You should think about the benefit that it will provide when it's done, right? PBNs, if you have PBNs, guys, use PBNs to link or boost your IFTTT network properties. In fact, that's safer than linking to your money sites anyways, right? Boost your IFTTT networks using PBNs. Powerful strategy. Okay, a lot of you do have PBNs. Those of you that don't, if you're thinking about building them, that's a good reason to build them. Outsource ranking, we talked about this with Jacob Hagberg a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago. Jacob is a good guy. He's got a good service. It's not a magic bullet, guys. It's not a magic bullet. but it is a good service that you can use that will automate the PBN. It's essentially he's got a large PBN network that he knows how to go out and purchase domains the proper way. So his network sites are decent. They're good links. I don't recommend linking directly to your money site, but you can use them to link directly to your IFTTT networks, and it will boost them. And it's 100% automated, guys, because he handles it all. You just put in your keywords and you pay him, and that's it. So it's effective for that. Okay. And then SAPE links, guys. I dropped SEOlutions.biz in there. Let me just go over this one very quickly with you guys because I think this is important. I use SAPE links all the time, guys. I do. I use them all the time, and I use this guy, this particular provider. There's other providers, guys, but I only had time for this one provider, and this is the provider that I use. If we go to High PR Solutions right here, you'll see there's two options right here. Oh, wait a minute. I clicked on the wrong one. Right here. And if you start, wow, they just raised their price. I'll be damned. This was just $129, like literally a week ago. Anyways, if you click on that, you can see that they've got different packages here. Oh, that's why it went from 130 links to 150 links. This is the one that I typically use, guys. I don't know if you can see this, but just click on that link. Go to High PR Solutions. Click on the fixed High PR links. You'll see it says starting from $145 a month. But you can see that they have, it's 150 PR3 links for $145. It was 130 PR3 links for $129 just last week, because that's the package I've been buying for probably a year. I've got several of these packages running right now. These work very, very good for boosting stuff. In fact, I use these also to test, like when I'm testing what you call poking a niche. I'll set up a test site in a particular niche if I'm trying it, and I'll point these PR3 links directly at the money site to test to see if I can jam it up to page 1 with some powered links. And then if so, then I remove the links and then start setting up a normal traditional site with clean link building and rank for it over time. If that's for another training. But my point is that these links are very, very good. For $145, you can get 150 PR3 links, which you can use to really, really boost up your IFTTT networks. Just keep in mind that this is a monthly bill. And as soon as you stop paying these guys or you cancel the subscription, it's not like instantly the links are taken down, but over the course of about 30 days, the links will be taken down, and you will lose all that juice. So if you're going to do this, you need to commit to it and keep it up. Okay? So just keep that in mind. If you're going to use the SAFE links, just make sure you commit to a package and keep it up, because otherwise you're going to lose the effect when they pull the links, which they will pull the links when you stop paying them. Okay? So, any other questions? Honestly, we don't probably have time for any of that because we're already an hour and 15 minutes in. Hopefully, you guys got some good value out of this today. Again, next week we're going to talk about the hiring outsourcers funnel. In fact, like I said, I will probably just be putting the webinar, at least the section concerning this, from the webinar tomorrow with the mastermind members in the masterclass area so that you guys can benefit from that as well. So next week, I'm not sure exactly what we're covering besides maybe just some Q&A, and then we'll get into a more formal lesson as well. So, and I'll let you guys know what that is when I set up the lesson for next week. Is there anything, Adam, that we need to cover that's like life or death?
Well, it depends on who's asking it, but I'm just looking at this. We're 15 minutes over, so I see Dion and Graham, you guys had some questions. Just go post them in the Facebook group. We'll get to them. They're good questions. Other than that, I think Keith and one or two others had some short questions. So I would just suggest you guys go post in the groups, and we will get to them. Give us a day or two, but we'll get to you.
Yeah, Dion actually posted this same question in Hump Day Hangouts, and it was already answered during Hump Day Hangouts.
Okay, good to go. I didn't have a chance to read it all.
And Graham, you're a mastermind member. So if you don't mind, just post that in the mastermind. We got mastermind webinar tomorrow, dude. I'll cover it tomorrow. Just post it in the webinars questions category so that I don't forget it. Okay. Everybody else, hopefully that was helpful, guys. I really do. Like, I thought this was an important session, and hopefully that was helpful. By the way, next time we send out the survey, guys, answer it, man, because we'll go over. We'll have another session like this where we're covering specific needs that you guys have addressed, and I think that's important. I want to know what you guys want to know. You know what I mean? So, anyways, thanks, Marco, and Chris, especially you, dude, for showing up. Thanks for being here. And Marco and Adam, thanks, guys, and we'll see you guys, the mastermind members tomorrow. The rest of you we'll see next week.
Awesome.